Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Now, the folks, hope you're all doing well. I'm feeling a little bit better today. Talking through the transfer dealings or lack of dealings through various friends and, streams has been like therapy. I do feel better today. Obviously, we're in midst of an international break, so it's a little bit of a while now till we'll play Fulham next weekend down at the Cottage, which will be a tough game. Plenty of time to sort of digest what's happened and then sort of get into a good mood ahead of that game and hopefully, as a club, as a fan base, we can unite and get us over the line. What I will say is there's been, some bits come out today, sort of like broken the silence, and we've heard some laughable sort of statements. I'm not going to really touch on them, as I've seen Joe's done a stream on it. I'm not a big reader, so I like to tune in and hear people vocalise the bits they've read, and Joe's done that, and some of the stuff that's come out. If you go watch their streams, you'll see it's been laughable. The deadline day is a bad day, which obviously it was, but they deemed the window as a good window on the whole, which I think we've fallen just below the good, the line of good. To be fair, I don't think it's been a disastrous, horrible window. I think we've had worse. I just think where we are right now, there's some gaping holes, as we all sort of agree, in terms of quality at top end of the pitch, and that could be in the Premier League. That could be, vital to us staying up or going down, getting that bit right. And obviously we've sort of knackered that up by the looks of it. But yeah, they've come out. A little bit's been said today, and I think it's just left more questions than answers. Really, it's sort of annoyed a lot of fan base. In bits I've seen and read already in the last couple of hours, so that's been a bit of a negative. But you want to check it out in layman's terms for people like me, like Joe Wayman's done a decent stream on what's been said today, so go give that a watch. But I want to touch on, there's been a few little whispers of Josh Brownhill being available, and Leeds looking at the potential of signing of Josh Brownhill. Now, this is, again, you've seen me, I don't really say much on transfers. I've said a little bit when I've had information. The Hamer one was nailed on in terms of, factually correct that Leeds were talking to Hamer. For whatever reason, that didn't get done. There's been a few more where, you do hear certain stuff on the grapevine. Just because Leeds are talking to a player or he's on their list or whatever, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. We found it very hard to get deals done. That's a fact. Look at, the better players, the next bracket of player, we've really struggled when there's been any competition. We've failed. But for me, the worst ones have probably been the ones that were gettable all window, like your Hamers, like a Wilson. These sort of players they are a level up right now, currently at the top end of the pitch, but they're not a level up on Leeds United for me. Pajau probably is. At one point it looked like we were trying to sign that Rafinha bracket player, and they probably are a level up on us as a club right now. And people like Hamer, they're a step up on the player we've got, but they're not a step up in terms of too good for Leeds United, you know what I mean? So they were deals for me that I think we could have done a Solomon early doors as well. So it's been a disappointing end to the window, and we definitely lack quality. So James Marshman at Marshall Leeds has come out and he's reported on behalf of a Team Talk journalist. It's going to come as common knowledge, I think, this afternoon, that Leeds are one of the clubs rumoured to be looking at Josh Brownhill. I mean, this doesn't surprise me. We've heard contradicting reports already. There's been people in the Leeds scene, it's been leaked today that Leeds won't look at the free agent market. That sort of come out today that we aren't interested, or we're not looking, and no one sort of sees that happening. I didn't think it had happened last season, but we went in there when we were in dire straits and got Joshua Gilavogi. and you know, he was a vital member of the squad, albeit not playing. So it's not something that's out of the realms of possibility. We've tapped into the free market this year, buying Metcha, buying DCL. So in terms of, you know, Leeds may say one thing, but they may do another. We've seen that already this window, saying things out, you know, on Sky. You've got Paraga and Sky Sports, loving the microphone, loving the attention, saying some outlandish stuff, and not delivering. So, you know, I could see them sort of trying to not embarrass herself again by it being common knowledge we're going for free transfers, and then not getting that right. But it's hard to keep things out of the media. So I think if we are looking at Josh Brownhill and we are making contact, that will come out in the wash. And if we miss that target, we miss that target. But I think that I don't think they're going to openly say they're tracking players now, or they're looking to free market, because it's another embarrassment, really, to sort of come out and say that and then not get that target too. So yeah, I think they'll keep the cards close to the chest like they try and do, like they tend to do. But what I'll say on Josh Brownhill, his stats last season were brilliant. They were unreal. 42 games, I think he was around 30 GNA. Is he what we need? I would argue probably not, but I ain't going to say no to him. I mean, he's a really creative player, albeit he's more of a central midfielder than an attacking midfielder, so he's more of an 8. He can play in the 10. He can play in the 6 too, but he's also played a little bit out on the right, which he won't play for us. But yeah, central midfielder. We've got players who can play that role. You know, you're probably looking at an Anton Stacks sort of level player. Well, not level player, but in terms of attributes, that sort of player. Anton Stack's been, you know, our most creative player this season. I think he's created 10 big chances, only second in the Premier League to Bruno Fernandes. So, you know, Brownhill, I mean, whose position would he take? Would we revert back to a 4-2-3-1, play a Stack alongside an Ampadu, and play Brownhill in the 10 when he doesn't? I think he's played 40 odd times in the 10 in his career. Like I say, he's mainly just a central midfielder, an 8, but he is a very good player. Shoots from distance, loads of goals, loads of assists from that area. It'd be a deal. Definitely is a free. I think we should look at. I think we've backed ourselves into a corner now where if there's any free deals, we should be looking at trying to get them done, regardless of what an Evans at Leeds has said or anybody else has said. Like I say, we've definitely left ourselves short. That's a fact. It was rumoured that they were going to Saudi yesterday. That doesn't appear to have gone through. He's turned down Wolves. He's turned down a few other clubs. What move is he looking for? You know, he's had offers. He's had abundance of offers as Brownhill. I don't know what he's waiting for. Maybe this will be a good time for Leeds to go in. You know, it's a deal. It's a rumour that's sort of floated around now, but it has been for a while now. You know, it's not the first time we've been linked with Brownhill, but I think it's the first time really when you look at it now and go, we are short at the top end of the pitch. Yes, he's more of an 8. You know, some can argue we've been looking at an 8 as well. You know, El Canoes, he can play out wide, he can play in 10. It probably is an 8. Different kind of player against a Brownhill, but I think at this stage, if he's available and you have that conversation, he wants to come and the finances are right in terms of wages and wage structure, I think it's a no-brainer. There's a couple more. There's Ziyech on there as a right winger from Chelsea, a 32-year-old. I think he's been in Saudi or Qatar. He's available on a free. There is a few on there, you know. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Some will say we're not desperate. I would argue in terms of that top end of pitch we are. You know, if you can get a Brownhill, I think it's something we should explore. And maybe you do play him in that 10 role, because like I say, he's creative enough from playing a little bit deeper. So maybe in that 10 role, maybe he can give you, for me, it'd be a better option in there than Aronson. You know, the problem is, will we revert to a 4-2-3-1 just on the basis of having a Brownhill in there? I'm not too sure we will. More competition for places. But he definitely fills that sort of Tanaka, Stack, Longstaff. We have got quite a lot of players who can play the 8 role. So it's whether Leeds will look at him more of an 8 and not go for it because we've got the bodies, or whether they'll look at it and think, sod it, we need more creativity. He is a creative footballer, whichever way you look at it, regardless of positions, he's a creative player. Goals and assists in abundance last year. He's got Premier League experience, he's a good age, he's 29, he's a free agent. A lot of boxes do get ticked there. But yeah, he does probably congest that position at Leeds that we've already got a little bit more. But be interested to see if all else comes out on this. It's a little whisper at the minute that we're looking at him, but yeah, the club are saying they're not looking at free agents. I think they'd be daft to rule that out. You've got to look at the hysteria of the Leeds fans. You know, if people think they don't see what goes on online, the daft course to do, they hear about it. A lot of stuff gets leaked into the press to see the fan reaction. The fan reaction for the last 48 hours has been brutal, like brutal. So many people have lost faith in 49ers. A lot of people sort of giving Farke the pass now because he's asked for 2 players they haven't delivered. And the 49ers have promised that a lot goes on in that last window, in that last week of the window, and we didn't bring anyone in last week. You know, I think it's been 9 days since James Justin came in, and we haven't delivered in the last final days, final week as promised. So to say we're not looking in the free agent market, I think it's just a safe face in case they can't get the deals done, because there's an embarrassment right there now in terms of, you know, the recruitment, the attempted recruitment that's gone on, that they haven't been able to get certain deals over that line. So I think it's just saving face by saying we're not going to look, try and keep it quiet, and if we get something done, we get something done. But you'd like to think we wouldn't even be in this predicament, but we are. And for me, if Josh Brownhill links are correct and it comes out that we are in fact looking at him, I will be pleased for that deal to go through. It is where we are currently. It's not what we wanted. But yeah, we'll have to see how this one goes. Until he moves and signs for another club. Great season last season. Never gets injured. Very, very rarely gets injured. No muscle injuries, no recurring injuries. A couple of, you know, ankle injuries and stuff, but no major. He's relatively fit, relatively available most weeks, like I say. So I think it's a deal Leeds should get done. And let's be fair, Brownhill should be playing football somewhere based off the best season of his career last season. So yeah, helped get his side to 100 points. I say single-handedly, but in that attacking option, it probably was. Maybe he could come to Leeds in Prem and give us something, maybe not similar, but give us something that we're lacking currently, which is goals and assists from midfield, I would say. So yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is it likely? Maybe not. Is it something you've thought about? Would it be a good fit for Leeds? But do you have any faith in Leeds getting anybody in from that free agent list? Probably not, but yeah, let's see how we go. Take care, everyone. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.